The first time I ever saw Jeanette was at a youth gathering at someone's house after church. I told her hi, but I wasn't sitting next to her, but after that, I never saw her again. Didn't really think about her or talk to her later, but didn't really think about even hanging out with her or, trying to get her as my girlfriend. Not until youth camp came around in, I believe it was 2013, and they put me in her group.
That was kind of exciting for me. I don't know why, but I still felt that kind of excitement because he was running down a hill and he looked so excited. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's in our team. And then at camp, I think around Friday, we did Secret Angels, and everyone would write letters to each other or gifts. And I don't know how, but
do you need a friend? We're here till the end.
Vitaliy and I ended up writing a letter to each other.
What caught my eye about her was the next day we were playing Capture the Flag, and I always had a big image of my wife or whoever I'm dating into sports, or at least wanted to watch sports or was active. And we were playing Capture the Flag, and I think we were down a couple points. We were not first, and the time was running out, and they called it out that 2 minutes left or 5 minutes, whatever it was, and she was like, come on, let's go, let's get that flag, let's get some points, And I was just like, dang, it just clicked. I was like, dude, this girl's cool, she's into sports, she's all sporty, all the enthusiasm is there. And after that, I started talking to her more, got to know her a little more in camp. We wrote a couple letters, I think, or just one in camp. We went back to Sacramento.
I remember sitting in church, and I remember texting Peter and asking Peter why Vitaliy isn't sitting by me, just as a little joke. And then that's how Vitaliy got my number. And so we kind of slowly started texting and stuff. I did start liking him because he was a really laid back dude and just super tall, dark, and handsome.
Afterwards, we went to a Habit, and this is the funniest part. I just love this about Jeanette. She ordered a burger and she just dove into it. I was just staring at her, and she was like,
why are you looking at me? And he's like, you're the first girl besides my family that eats like a normal person, that doesn't care about how she looks, how she eats, what's on her face. And I was like, dude, I'm hungry. What else am I supposed to do? He was like, dang, he liked it.
And we went to San Francisco afterwards. It was a fun trip. We just kept talking, had some fun.
That's when we opened up to each other. That's when he asked me about my life and stuff. And, we were sharing our past, our present, and what I imagined my future to be like and what he imagined his future to be like. And I guess that kind of, sparked the match.
After everything happened, the conversations we had, I kind of had my mindset that I would want to ask her out, but I didn't tell her that day. And then so we went back to Sacramento, back to our lives, kept living, and then I started picturing could I see her as my wife?
After that, him and I would hang out way more. He would take me out on hangouts and stuff.
And the answer is yes.
And one night came around and he asked me what I'm doing on Thursday. And Thursday was August 22nd. I was like, nothing, I don't have any plans. And he's like, okay, because I'm taking you out. So he took me shooting because I've always wanted to go shooting. And he took me to the gun range. And then after that, he took me to dinner. I was nicely fed. And then after that, I was expecting to go home.
But I kept driving the wrong way, and she was confused. And she's like, why are you not taking me home? Well, I got one more thing that I just want to go downtown or something like that.
And it was really pretty and stuff, and he handed me a letter. And the story behind the letter is when him and I went to San Francisco together, I remember him sharing a story about his mom and dad.
My dad used to write letters to my mom when he was in the army back in Russia. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute, that's so cool when people write letters to each other. So I got that in my head.
Vitaliy fulfilled my wish, and he wrote me a 6-page letter, front and back. And it basically was saying how he, saw his life and stuff, and how he liked me, and how he likes everything that we had in common, and etc. and stuff. And then he told me, he's like,
just go to that side of the garage and just read it. And right when you finish the last word, turn around.
The last sentence of the letter said, if you agree with everything that I say, please turn around and accept these 50 roses. And
she mentioned like earlier in SoCal that like as a joke that she doesn't think it's a bouquet of flowers or whatever it was if it's not 50. And she's like, oh, just kidding. And so just standing there, my legs were shaking. I was nervous because I still had some doubt that she would say no, but I know I just took the leap of faith.
I turned around and he's standing there with beautiful, huge bouquet of 50 roses.
She was like laughing and smiling, and I was like, so is that yeah? She's like,
yeah, like of course. And so I give him a hug.
I was like, all right, since you said yes, I have one more present for you.
He pulls out 2 dog tags, and on the dog tags it has our verse, which is 2 Corinthians 6:14.
Do not yoke yourself with unbelievers.
The reason he used that verse is because when him and I would text, we kind of agreed on reading the Bible together. I came home with these 50 roses, and I was like, Mom, Dad, like look at this. And they were like, wow, Jana, like, it's a stole. And Mom's like, you know, obviously.
From that day on, we started dating. She met the family, they liked her. So many months passed after that.
He was going to Mexico missionary.
And I was like, we should go to Disneyland the weekend before and just hang out in LA.
And I was like so excited because I love Disneyland, like I love it.
And then she'll fly back home and I'll just go to Mexico. And then she was like, well, I don't want you to come back and then drive home by yourself.
Because I did not want him driving home alone all the way, and I felt really bad, and I don't want him to fall asleep, and just, you know, a girlfriend has got to worry.
So I'll fly back, and then we could drive back together. So like, oh, perfect, you know? So after she mentioned that, I was like, you know, I'll propose to her in Orange County when she comes back. You know, she won't see me for a week. She'll have no clue. One of our, I think, birthday dates or whatever it was, we went to a fancy restaurant, and she knows that I like the color red, and she's like, for our 1-year anniversary, we should go to this restaurant, and you can wear a red dress, and I'll like wear a tuxedo, you know, it'll be like a nice fancy restaurant, nice day. And she's like, oh, perfect, you know. So I remember that, and I was like, you know what? When you come back, when I come back from Mexico and you fly in, we should go to a restaurant, and then you can wear your red dress there, and then the whole thing. She's like, oh, perfect, you know? So I was like, dang, perfect. So she'll be wearing a dress.
I remember in that week that Vitaliy was in Mexico, my mom, she was ironing my red dress, and she's like, Jen, she's like, are you sure that you guys are just going to dinner and there's nothing else? I was like, yeah, why? She's like, мне кажется, что он тебе предложение сделает. And I was like, Mom, no. I was like, trust me, we talked about it. He told me he only wants to start thinking about marriage when he's around 23, and then, you know, in the middle of 23, he'll probably propose. So I had no thought that he's gonna propose at all, because the goal was the deal that he's not proposing, that I was just like, whatever, there's no proposal. So Mom's like, мне кажется, это платье для что-то другое, это не будет просто dinner. And I was like, Mom, whatever, you don't know what you're talking about. As I'm sitting in the airplane between 2 people, I'm sitting next to an older man, and he's telling me, he's like, why do you have this red dress? And I was like, oh, my boyfriend and I are celebrating our 1-year anniversary. And he's like, I think he's gonna propose to you. And I was like, no, he's not. I was like, this is just a 1-year anniversary. He's like, nope. He's like, he's definitely proposing. That dress is not just for a dinner. And I was like, okay, this is totally weird, but I still didn't think anything was gonna happen. I thought we were just gonna go to dinner, and I was super hungry, and I was looking forward to a beautiful restaurant on the coast with the sun going down. That's exactly how he described the restaurant that he's gonna take me to.
She was supposed to fly in at 7 o'clock, 30 minutes or 40 minutes before sunset, and I was gonna be wearing my nice church clothes. She didn't know I had a suit. So I had everything set up on the beach. It was just how everything I planned out.
He picked me up, and I got dressed, and so we're walking down the little walk that they had at SoCal, and I'm walking down to a little rest area, and I see that Vitaliy is, standing next to the restroom and not moving. And so I kind of get worried, and the place is dark, and I don't want to get stolen, so I kind of go after him, and I see he's talking to my friend Stacy and Violetta and our friend David Polishuk. And I was like, what are they doing here? What's going on? And I see David has a camera on him, and I was like, this is so weird. What are they doing here? And so Vitaliy just runs off, and I was like, where did he go? And so I didn't really have a thought he was gonna propose, but at the same time I did, because why are Stacey and Violetta here, and David has a camera? And so they're just sitting there covering their faces like this. And okay, I was like, you know what? I just gonna pretend that I never saw them. I'm gonna keep walking. And so I walk up and I'm trying to find Vitaliy because he ran up towards the stairs. And so I'm just walking, and I sit on a bench and I'm thinking, what is going on? So I was like, I'm gonna decide to start, walking towards where he ran. So as I start walking, I see really big lime green arrows. And so I was like, okay, this is, something's fishy around here. So following these arrows, and I see our friend Alex and Nigger standing there next to a beautiful table set up with all of our pictures, red roses, dog tags, new ones, and an iPad, and it says play me. So I play that video, and it's a video on how he's preparing the whole proposal from day one. And I was just flabbergasted. I was like, whoa, I couldn't cry because my feelings were just super like, oh, what's going on? As I finished the video, Alex told me to walk down to the gazebo.
And I was waiting there, and she finally starts walking down after like 20 minutes of waiting. It was like very dark. All the candles blew out because it was windy. But things were going our way, but I was like, whatever, just roll with it.
As I'm walking down, there's these beautiful tiki torches going down to the gazebo. And as I walk down, Vitaliy's standing there with a beautiful, suit, white shirt, tie. I think it's just perfect.
Told her that for the very first time that I loved her, and said some other things, and then got on my knees and proposed to her. And I was like, will you be the mother of my future kids?
And of course I said yes. And then there was no tears because I was just so shocked.
Then I stood up, gave her a hug, and then got the 50 roses, gave it to her, and then we had a little moment, and then everyone came out that was there, and she was in shock that everyone came up because she thought they were all busy, but they were all there. And then we all went out to dinner afterwards, and after that, I would just keep falling in love with her every day more and more. Just the beautiful future wife I'm gonna have. So yeah, baby, I love you.
I love you too.
And
That's our love story and our whole life,
so
pretty much.
I'm definitely hoping to grow older with him, like 99 years old, and have beautiful children. It's God's will.